Alright, well, we just wrapped up our first season in the garden here. Not much to show at this point. All we got left is a couple kale plants, an old celery stalk over here, and a few little scrubbly onions just buried in the leaves still. We didn't have access to this plot until late June this year, but even with the late start, we still got a few good veggies out of it. But I'm still hungry, so today's video is on how to expand your garden using some sheet mulch techniques. What you're going to need for sheet mulching is some grass, which there is an abundance of. You're going to need a few of these leaf bags, which you can find from any suckers who put them out at the end of their driveway. And you're going to need some cardboard. So I started out by just kind of sketching an area with my shovel here of where I wanted the garden to go to. If you're worried about messing up your lawn with these shovel marks, I don't know what to tell you, you're watching the wrong video. Finding some worm friends is usually a pretty good omen and an indicator that your soil is not totally dead, which is a good place to start if you're trying to grow some food. Busting up the roots of this sod should, in theory, keep the grass from taking over the garden next year, but we'll see how that theory holds up in practice. Now, the first principle of permaculture is observation, so it's always good to take a little bit of time and look at the landscape you're working with and try to get to know it a little better. So yeah, just be like this dog here and just spend some time looking at the interactions in your environment. I noticed this kind of slope to the land as I was working with it this year, and every time it rained it would just funnel down these pathways. So next year I think I'll orient them in the opposite direction, perpendicular to that, so that they can catch and collect that water and use it rather than just shooting it down the lawn and into the street where it was just going down the drain. So yeah, just walk around the footprint of your new garden, see how it feels, and then get back to work, you lazy hippie. Yeah, if you're a real masochist, you can try to dig up all this sod here, but boy, is that a lot of work. So instead we are going to use our cardboard. So what you're going to want to do is take apart these cardboard boxes, which depending on your IQ might actually be more difficult than digging up all the sod, but yeah, good brain buster for you. Once I got all the cardboard laid out, I threw some of those sod clumps on top to weigh it down, which as I'm now editing this video I'm realizing are going to be big patches of weeds that I'm going to have to dig up this summer, but that should be fun and a problem for future me. Next you're going to take one of those leaf bags and give her the old flipperoo. Now you're just going to spread those leaves around a little bit, but don't worry too much about it, we'll tidy that up later. Now you're probably thinking, hey dum-dum, there's a bunch of grass you haven't even covered up yet. Well, here's where the magic happens. I picked up this little trick from Amy DeSison's Tightwad Gazette books. It's actually a tip on how she gets the biggest piece of fabric out of an old scrap t-shirt, but it kind of applies here. Just rip diagonally along the bag and you'll get one really long piece of cardboard you can use. And look at this, it even comes with a free little piece of art at the end. Go on my Instagram, buy it for $500. So now comes the fun part of just doing that over and over again till you cover the whole piece of grass. Got it all laid out, make sure you get your rake and even those leaves around the whole thing. I put a little bit in these trenches too around it just to, I don't know, build up the soil a bit, and this is a good point too to just check through these bags and make sure no trick-or-treaters throwing any candy bars or sody pops in there. Now I was kind of nervous about all my hard work getting blown away in the wind, and I don't know if this will help at all, but I thought maybe spraying it with some water could weigh it down and possibly help speed up the decomposition of the leaves a little bit. If you're real paranoid, you can start stomping around on the leaves too, but if you're going to do this step, make sure you have a tall fence because you'll look like an idiot. And there we have it, about an hour and a half's work, and we've, well, just about doubled the garden space for next season, which should give us a good head start. And yeah, lawns are great. You can do a lot of stuff on grass, like walk on it, sit on it. Yeah, I don't know. We've got a lot of grass out there, maybe more than is good for us or the planet, and why not turn a little bit of your lawn into some native plants or food that you can actually eat? Yeah, happy gardening.